Hello everyone and welcome back to One Soccer. I'm your host for today, Josh Deming, and we are back with an interesting little episode for you guys. As some of you probably have realized that Canada has qualified for their very first World Cup since 1986, which has a lot of us Canadians very excited as well as kind of curious to see how this World Cup is going to play out, what scenarios could potentially happen. So that's what we're here for today. We have 3 different scenarios. The first scenario we will go through is going to be the scenario that needs to play out, in my opinion, so Canada can lift the World Cup. The second scenario will be storylines, some of the better and fun storylines that could potentially take place at this upcoming World Cup. And then my third scenario is basically the realistic scenario, how I kind of see it playing out. So hopefully you guys are excited, and if you are, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub as well, and let's get into the episode now. Now, all you Canadians out there would be lying if you didn't think that for a second there was a slim possibility that Canada could do the impossible, go on and win this upcoming World Cup. Liar! Is it likely? Probably not. But have you thought about it? Probably. So we are gonna go through a scenario right now, going through the brackets and seeing what basically could happen to give Canada the best opportunity to win this upcoming World Cup. So let's start off in the group stage. And as you guys can see, we've predicted every single score in this group stage, as well as the best possibility for Canada. And the matches go a little something like this. Croatia taking down Morocco 2-1, Canada and Belgium drawing 1-1, Belgium beating Morocco 1-0, Croatia and Canada drawing 1-1, Croatia and Belgium drawing 1-1, and Canada beating Morocco 2-0. And with those results, it would then see Canada finish top of the group with 1 win, 2 draws, with Croatia 1 win, 2 draws in second, Belgium 1 win, 2 draws in third, and Morocco 0-0-3. It's a 3-way tie for 1-2-3, but because of that 2-0 victory over Morocco, Canada slides by in first place to move on to the next round. Now we're gonna go take a look at the remaining groups, and I'm gonna put them how I think that they need to fall in place to give Canada that best opportunity to win the World Cup. But we're gonna start with the interconfederational playoffs, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on who is potentially going to qualify. These 3 countries, just to make it easier for this video, are going to be the 3 countries I talk about through the 3 different scenarios. So in the European playoff between Wales, Scotland, and Ukraine, I have in that first match Ukraine taking on Scotland, I have Scotland winning, and then I have Wales taking on Scotland, I got Scotland winning. So Scotland is going to be representing in the European place. Then in the other interconfederational one, we have New Zealand taking on Costa Rica, I have Costa Rica advancing. And then the last interconfederational one, we have Australia taking on the UAE in the first round. I have Australia winning and then going on to take on Peru, and I have Peru going. So I have Scotland, Peru, and of course Costa Rica going to the World Cup. Now that we have figured out the remaining 3 playoff teams, let's take a look at how I think the groups are going to play out. In Group A, I have Netherlands first, Qatar second going through, with Senegal in third and Ecuador in fourth. In Group B, I have England first, USA second, Scotland third, Iran fourth. In Group C, I have Argentina first, Mexico second, Poland third, Saudi Arabia fourth. In Group D, I have Denmark first, Peru second, France third, and Tunisia fourth. In Group E, I have Germany first, Japan second, Spain third, and Costa Rica fourth. In Group G, I have Brazil first, Serbia second, Switzerland third, Cameroon fourth. And in Group H, I have Portugal first, South Korea second, Uruguay third, and Ghana fourth. Now that the group stage is all done, I tried to play it out a little bit like England in 2018 for Canada, giving them a very easy side of the bracket as opposed to the other side. We're going to start on the left side of the bracket, and kicking off the first match is Netherlands taking on the USA. I have the Netherlands moving on. Argentina taking on Peru. I have Argentina moving on. Germany taking on Croatia, and I have Croatia moving on. Brazil taking on South Korea. I have Brazil moving on. Now moving on to the right side of the bracket for the round of 16. We have Qatar taking on England. I have an upset. I have Qatar moving on. We have Mexico taking on Denmark. I have the Danes moving on. Canada versus Japan in a very comfortable round of 16. I have Canada moving on. And Portugal taking on Serbia. We've seen it once. We've seen it happening again. We're going to see Serbia upsetting Portugal and move on to the quarterfinals. Now moving on over to the left side of the bracket for the quarterfinals, we have the Netherlands taking on Argentina. We have the Netherlands moving on to the semifinals. And we have Croatia taking on Brazil. And we have the upset Croatia returning to another semifinals, taking out Brazil. Over on the right side of the bracket for the quarterfinals, things get very interesting with Qatar upsetting England in the last round, now taking on Denmark, but the Danes are something special about them. They take down Qatar, which then sees Canada playing Serbia, and you know where this one's going. Canada can handle that matchup. They take out Serbia to move on to the semifinals. It's the final four now. Things are getting a little tense. In the semifinals over on the left side of the bracket, we're going to see Croatia taking down the Netherlands to go to another World Cup final. And on the right side of the bracket, we have Canada taking on Denmark. It's a fairy tale story for both countries, but we have Canada going to the World Cup final. The third place match for any of you guys out there who care did see Denmark winning against the Netherlands to give Christian Eriksen that bronze. He loved it. He deserved it. But the World Cup final saw Croatia in back-to-back World Cup finals taking on Canada, but it's Canada that walks away with the World Cup. So how did I do? Do you think that bracket was relatively realistic / favorable for Canada? That was the goal, but that's the bracket I see best fit to see Canada make a World Cup run and of course win it. So hopefully you guys have some thoughts and opinions on it down below. But now let's move on to scenario 2. We are now moving on to our second scenario. Now it's not going to be as fun as scenario 1 because scenario 1 saw Canada win a World Cup. Is it realistic? You be the judge, but scenario 2 is going to be interesting. It's going to be a scenario based on storylines. What storylines would have to take place to make this a memorable World Cup, or should I say an even more memorable World Cup? Because remember, this is still our first World Cup since '86. It will be memorable no matter what, but these storylines are going to help build that. So when you think back on this World Cup, you think it's special no matter what. So to kick things off, let's start off in Canada's group. So now taking a look at the matches being played for this storyline scenario. The first one is going to see Croatia taking down Morocco 2-1, Belgium beating Canada 2-1, but the first ever World Cup goal being scored in that match against Belgium, pretty unique storyline. Belgium winning against Morocco 2-0, Croatia and Canada drawing 1-1, Croatia losing to Belgium 1-0, and then Canada beating Morocco 2-0 to make the final standings, Belgium going through with a 3-0-0 record. Canada and Croatia tied for second place with a 1-1-1 record, but Canada finds a way through on goal difference with a +1 as opposed to Croatia's 0 goal differential, which then again sees poor Morocco going 0-0-3. But the storyline gives Canada a fighting chance to move on to the round of 16. Now let's take a look at how the rest of the groups play out. Starting in Group A, we have Netherlands in first, Senegal in second, Ecuador in third, and Qatar in fourth. For Group B, I made this a very interesting storyline for several different reasons, but we have Scotland who qualified with the US and England's almost like the big brother in some way to the US and Scotland. So we're seeing Scotland finish first, USA finish second, England crashing out in the group stage, and then Iran finishing in the basement. The younger brothers found a way to tip it there. In Group C, we have Argentina in first, Mexico in second, Poland in third, and Saudi Arabia in fourth. In Group D, I did it in the last simulator, but I'm going to elaborate a little bit more because this is one of the storylines. It's the World Cup winner's curse, meaning you win a World Cup, you go on to the next World Cup and you crash out in the group stage. We're making the trend continue. It's been a trend basically since 2006 with Italy winning and then getting knocked out in the group stage, followed by Spain winning, getting knocked out in the group stage, then Germany winning, getting knocked out in the group stage. So naturally, it's France's turn. So we see Denmark in first, we see Peru in second, we see France getting knocked out in third, and Tunisia in fourth. In Group E, we have Germany first, Spain second, Costa Rica third, and Japan fourth. In Group G, we have Brazil first, Switzerland second, Serbia third, and Cameroon fourth. In Group H, we have Portugal first, Uruguay second, South Korea third, and Ghana fourth. Now moving on to the round of 16, we're going to take a look at the left-hand side of the bracket. First match that's kicking things off is going to be the Netherlands taking on the USA. I have the USA actually winning this one and advance to the quarterfinals. Argentina taking on Peru. I have Argentina moving on. And then here's a storyline for Canada. It's Canada taking on Germany. And I just want to make sure that everyone is aware that Alphonso Davies has taken a lot of stick from his German teammates at Bayern Munich in the past, basically all around the Canadian men's national team. So this scenario is going to play out 1-1 going to extra time, 120th extra time game-winning goal scored by Alphonso Davies to send Canada to the quarterfinals.
All my German teammates in my ear talking about yeah, we want you guys watch out. You're lucky still. I wanted to get it right. You're lucky still. Not even gonna lie to you.
And then finally, their matchup in the next round is going to be the winner of Brazil and Uruguay, and I have Brazil moving on from that match. In the right-hand side of the bracket in the round of 16, see Scotland taking on Senegal in the first round. I have Senegal moving on to the quarterfinals, Denmark taking on Mexico, I have Denmark moving on to the quarterfinals, Spain taking on Belgium, I have Belgium moving on to the quarterfinals, and Portugal taking on Switzerland. I got Portugal going on to the quarterfinals. In the quarterfinals, in the left-hand side of the bracket, sees the first matchup with the USA taking on Argentina, where I have Argentina winning that matchup and going to the semis, and then it's Canada versus Brazil, Canada being the third ever CONCACAF nation to make it to the quarterfinals, joining up with the USA in 2002 as well as Costa Rica in 2014. However, they are going to be stopped there. They're taking on Brazil. Ronaldinho will be in there to rock in the Canada jersey. We know that, but I just think this is a story tale finish. Taking on a team in a country like Brazil is just an impeccable achievement regardless. It'll be a tough one. It'll be a 1-0. But Canada holds their head high knowing that they took out Germany. They had an amazing group stage performance, and it's just memories all around. And then Ronaldinho cheering everybody on, rocking the Canada shirt. It smiles, and it's a really good opportunity to write Canada's name still in the history books of one of 3 CONCACAF nations to make it to the quarterfinals. However, I know a lot of you guys are curious, so we still will play out the bracket for you guys. And to finish off the quarterfinals, over on the right-hand side, we see Senegal taking on Denmark. We have Denmark moving on to the semifinals, and we have Belgium taking on Portugal. We have Portugal moving on to the semifinals. Now, you guys may know where I'm going with this, but the semifinals is going to look a little something like this. On the left-hand side of the bracket, it has Argentina taking on Brazil. We have Argentina going to the World Cup final. And on the right side of the bracket, we have Portugal taking on Denmark. We have Portugal going on to the World Cup finals. The third place matchup sees Denmark taking down Brazil to win bronze. Once again, Christian Eriksen finds a way. But the World Cup final, it's a beautiful one. These are what the storylines are made of. It's Argentina, it's Portugal, it's Messi versus Ronaldo, and I have Argentina winning it. So that is the storyline portion of this bracket. Let me know if you guys would have liked any other storylines that I could have included in there, but I thought Canada making a quarterfinal, 3rd ever CONCACAF nation to do so was impressive. Getting out of the group, the German connection with Alphonso Davies, game-winning goal, and then taking on a country like Brazil with, Ronaldinho rocking the Canadian maple leaf in there. Come on, it writes itself in the stars. And on top of that, the icing on the cake, guys, is Messi versus Ronaldo, and Messi taking home the World Cup. So let me know what you guys think on that bracket. 2 scenarios down, 1 to go, and the final scenario is more of an actual prediction. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and opinions on how I actually see this World Cup breaking down and how realistically far I see Canada going. So we're going to kick things off a little bit differently for this scenario, and we're going to actually just go through the groups in order. So we're going to start things off with my actual predictions, starting in Group A. In Group A, I see Netherlands topping the group in first, Senegal in second going through, Qatar going out in the group stage, joining a very select few of host nations who have not made it out of the group stage, being the only other one, South Africa, and then in fourth, Ecuador. In Group B, I see England topping the group, USA finding a way through in second, Scotland third, and Iran in fourth. In Group C, I see Argentina topping it in first, with Mexico second, Poland third, and Saudi Arabia finishing in fourth. In Group D, despite the other 2 simulators, I actually do think France will top this group in first place, Denmark finishing in second, Peru in third, and Tunisia in fourth. In Group E, I see Spain topping the group, Germany second going through, Costa Rica in third, and Japan in fourth. Finally, getting over to Group F, I see Belgium going through, topping the group with a 3-0-0 record. And for the sake of it, I am going to put Canada going through because I think that this could potentially happen. Canada going 1-1-1, Croatia 1-1-1, Morocco 0-0-3, and that's a way that potentially Canada can get it. But in reality, I hope they just are going to give some competitive performances against both Belgium, Croatia, and especially a big performance against Morocco, because I think if they are going to get through the group, it's going to have to come from a result against Morocco. So I am going to back them to sneak it out on goal difference against Croatia to finish in that second place. Am I biased? Yes. In Group G, I see Brazil topping the group with Serbia in second going through, with Switzerland in third and Cameroon in fourth. And in Group H, I see Portugal topping the group, South Korea finding a way through, Uruguay with a disappointing result crashing out, and then of course Ghana in fourth. But the key thing here is Ghana does get the win over Uruguay, a cheeky little something to eliminate them from the World Cup. Now with the group stage being done, what does my bracket look like? We're going to start over with the left-hand side of the round of 16, which sees the Netherlands taking on the USA. I have the Netherlands going through, Argentina taking on Denmark. I have Argentina going through, Spain taking on Canada. Now, I see Spain as a massive test for Canada, and I think even getting through a group is a massive test for Canada because we have 2 of the top 3 countries in the last World Cup, plus a very talented Morocco side. So if Canada could find a way out of the group, it would be incredible. But in this prediction, I see them, as far as they getting it, either probably being 3rd in the group or a round of 16 performance, because taking on whether it's Germany or Spain is probably going to be the end, unfortunately, for Canada. So I do have in this bracket, in my predictions, Spain taking out Canada to move on to the quarterfinals, and then I have Brazil taking down South Korea to move on to the quarterfinals as well. Now moving over to the round of 16 in the right-hand side of the bracket, the first matchup is England against Senegal, where I have England going through, France against Mexico, I have France going through, Germany against Belgium, I have Germany going through, and Serbia against Portugal, and I do have Serbia upsetting Portugal once again. I just don't think Portugal has what it takes for a really deep run. There's an upset there. Serbia moves on to the quarterfinals. Now moving on to the quarterfinals in the left-hand side of the bracket, the first matchup sees the Netherlands taking on Argentina. I have Argentina moving on to the semifinals, and it sees Spain taking on Brazil, and I do have Brazil moving on to the semifinals. In the right-hand side of the bracket, the first matchup sees England taking on France. I have France winning, moving on to the semifinals, and I have Germany taking on Serbia, where I have Germany moving on to the semifinals. Now moving on to the semifinals, we have two very interesting matchups. We're going to look first on the left-hand side of the bracket. It's the best of South America, Argentina against Brazil, and I am going to just tip Brazil to move on to the finals. And on the right-hand side of the bracket, it sees France against Germany. I have Germany. I don't know what it is about France. I just don't see them going on a really deep run. A semifinal, I guess you could count it as deep, but I don't see them going all the way to the finals or winning it. The third place match sees Argentina taking on France, and I am backing Messi and company to walk away winners, with Messi leaving a little bit of a smile on his face while he puts his international career behind him. The World Cup finals sees Brazil taking on Germany, a shot at redemption after Germany won 7-1 against Brazil in 2014 in the semifinals. This is an opportunity for Brazil to make up for that. It's going to be an intense World Cup final, but I do see Brazil making things right, winning 2-1 in extra time to lift the World Cup, making Germany finish in second, guys. So those are my actual predictions, with the scenario before that being the storyline scenario and the scenario before that being Canada winning, the World Cup. Let me know what you guys think of it. Let me know what you think about each scenario. What are your predictions? Who do you think is actually going to be the favorites, and who is going to win this upcoming World Cup? Because there's a lot of really good countries going into it. I'm just really excited to see Canada there. For me, my goal would be to get out of the group, and I think that's a fair and realistic goal for Canada. Anything more than that, you've only done what a select few in CONCACAF in the history of World Cups have done in the US and Costa Rica. But I'm excited to be here, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So let me know down below, guys, in the comment what your guys' thoughts and predictions are as well. That's all the time we have on this episode. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it, and if you did, be sure to drop a like and drop a sub. And this is the #1 place to stay up to date with all things Canadian soccer. So until next time, guys, take care, and we'll talk to you guys soon.